if you plant your seed in an environment where there are thorns, that thorn will choke that seed. Don't cast your pearl before swine, because if you do, they will trample upon it. Do not spend your time in a place where you are undervalued, in a circle where you are undervalued. This is very important, especially when you are trying to build your self-esteem. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Life Lessons with Lau. My name is Loretta Gerard. You can call me IJ. And on this space, we like to have open, honest, authentic, heart-to-heart conversations on everything pertaining to love, life, faith, and womanhood. So, if this is your first time coming across this channel or listening to the podcast, you are most welcome. And if you are a returning listener or subscriber, thank you again and again and again and again. Don't mind those birds chirping in the background. It is summer in Australia, so the birds are so happy. The weather is all warm and beautiful. Anyway, but as you can see, I am looking so Christmassy because it's that time of the year again. I know it's that time of the year again, and isn't it just so interesting how quickly the months just roll by? I mean, it's December already. So my mission today is quite simple. I just want to make sure that if you're dealing with low self-esteem, that it doesn't step into 2026 with you. That's just my mission today. Today, I want to talk about overcoming low self-esteem. If you've been following this channel for a while, you notice that one of the things that I like to talk about is self-esteem, how to value yourself, how to love yourself. And the reason why this is important to me is because for a very long time in my life, I battled with my self-esteem. Like, I really struggled with loving myself. I really struggled with valuing myself. So this is something that tugs at my heart. This is something that is important to me. It's so important that I had to write a book about it. Yeah. I wrote a book about building your self-esteem and having healthy self-esteem. You can get it on Amazon. I'll put the link to the book in the description. It's on Kindle, it's on paperback. So, but yeah, it was so important to me that I had to write a book about it, because I feel like a lot of women are really struggling with their sense of self-worth. And some people know this and some people do not. Some people have not taken the time to reflect and introspect and do the inner work. So if you know anybody that should be listening to this or should be watching this video, this is a good time to pause and share. Before we begin to talk about overcoming something, we need to be able to identify it. Right? And some people might not be able to say, oh, I think I'm battling with low self-esteem, because, as I said, they have not taken the time to do that introspection. But before you begin to solve a problem, it's good, you have to, first of all, be able to identify, recognize, and accept that there is a problem. So what are the signs of low self-esteem? And there are so many telltale signs that indicate that a person is struggling with their self-esteem, but I'm just going to share some of the top ones, right? The first is that there's a codependence, which means that you typically look to external things to get your validation. You do not see yourself as worthy. You have to depend on other people applauding you, other people making you feel good about yourself for you to feel good about yourself. That might look like waiting for compliments. That might look like waiting to get likes or posts, engagement on social media. Those things make you feel good about yourself. So if you strip those things away, if those things are taken away, you don't feel good with yourself. Like you don't feel happy with yourself. So you need some kind of external boost. You need somebody affirming you from outside before you can begin to feel good about yourself. And of course, it comes with, it comes in so many ways. It comes through social validation. It comes through codependence in relationships, whereby you feel like your worth as a person is tied to a relationship, or is tied to your romantic relationship, or tied to your spouse, or tied to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner. You feel like, oh, if this relationship ends, it means that my life has ended. You take on other people's moods, you take on other people's feelings. You don't see yourself as someone worthy apart from those external things. Second sign, which I think I touched on just a bit, people who have low self-esteem find it hard to accept compliments because you don't see yourself as good enough. When someone tells you that, or someone gives you a compliment and says, oh, you look good, or you did that well, oh, you're really good at this, you tend to downplay that, or you tend to deflect, or you tend to just push that aside, or maybe you don't even believe it, because over time you have not learned to see the beauty in you. You have not learned to see the good in you. That could also be because maybe during the course of your life, or just in your childhood, the only thing that is amplified, or the only things that were amplified, were your weaknesses. So somebody talking about something that you're good at sounds like a lie to you, because nobody has really told you what you're good at. Nobody has really commended you for doing something well. Maybe over time or over the years, you were constantly criticized. So receiving a compliment doesn't just seem right. Another sign of low self-esteem is unhealthy comparison. Emphasis on unhealthy. That shows you that there's actually a healthy way to compare. And I did an episode on comparison recently, so you can go back. You can go and watch it if you're watching on YouTube, or you can check the channel podcast history, and you can see that episode. It's really insightful, so I encourage you to go back and watch that, or listen to that after this. So ultimately, there's a good way to compare, in that when you compare in a healthy way, it's some form of inspiration, it's some form of admiration, right? Where you see what somebody's doing, and you see look for ways that you can replicate that in your life. So it's some form of inspiration for you. But an unhealthy way to compare is that it generates a feeling of inadequacy in you. Somebody doing something that you would love to do makes you feel like you can never achieve that, or makes you feel a tinge of jealousy or envy or bitterness or resentment towards that person, or even towards yourself. So that is a sign of low self-esteem, when you constantly compare yourself to people in an unhealthy way, and you find yourself secretly or overtly competing with the person, or indulging in an unhealthy rivalry with the person. That is a sign of low self-esteem, because you do not just feel good in and of yourself. Another sign of low self-esteem is perfectionism, because you feel like, again, your worth is tied to external things. You feel like the only way you can feel good about yourself is to be perfect in all your ways, perfect in everything that you do. If it's not 100%, then it's not good enough. There's a difference between excellence and perfectionism. And for me, this is something that I struggled with for a long time, because I was highly critical of myself, and I had really unrealistic expectations of myself. I wanted to be perfect. But you see, that need for perfection stemmed from constantly seeking approval and constantly wanting to appease certain people in my life, growing up. But I quickly had to learn that I will never be perfect. I will never be perfect. And so always striving for perfection is a sign that you are not at peace with your humanity. You're not at peace with the truth and the reality that nobody is perfect, and nothing can be 100% perfect. Another sign of low self-esteem is that need to one-up people. That need to, if somebody has something, you want to one-up them. You want to do better than them. Again, it's tied to that unhealthy comparison. It's tied to that unhealthy rivalry. So say if, for example, your friend got a nice bag, the next thing you're looking for how you're going to get a bag that's much more expensive than that. You want to one up that person, right? It's a kind of unhealthy competition, because you feel like I have to do better. I have to be better than everybody else so that they can see that, so that they can approve of me, or so that they can see me as worthy of their love, or worthy of their attention, or worthy of their affection. You feel like getting things or doing better, one-upping or doing better than people makes you worthy. You have not learned that you are worthy in and of yourself first, and you've not learned that, and you have not accepted that. Another sign of low self-esteem is that you're trying to put other people down. When you find yourself constantly castigating people, constantly trying to trample on people, constantly trying to put people down, constantly looking for ways that you can bash people, bash their compliments, like you rarely have something good to say about people, you find it hard to just wish people well. And even when they do well, you just find a way to tear them down. That is a sign of low self-esteem. It's a telltale sign of low self-esteem, because what it means is that you feel threatened by other people's success, and you feel like the best way to feel good about yourself is to tear other people down. And the reason you feel that way is because deep down you don't feel good about yourself, and so you want to bring everybody to that level. Deep down inside you, you don't feel like you're worthy. Deep down inside you, you don't feel like you can do anything good. And so the moment you see that somebody is doing something good, you want to bring them down to that level. You want them to feel the same kind of pain that you are feeling on your inside as well. That's a sign of low self-esteem. Another sign of low self-esteem, which is just the opposite of what I've said, is that you talk yourself down so that you to feel humble, to look humble, or to appear humble. So you downplay your strengths. You're afraid to take up space. You just want to be, in the background. You don't want to take up space because you feel like you're not deserving to occupy space. You would rather shrink back and get lost in the background. Not because you're happy just being in the background, you're satisfied just being in the background, but because you feel like you're not deserving of that attention. You downplay your strengths. You cower. You shrink to make people comfortable. You are afraid to make people uncomfortable by being yourself. So you shrink back. You shrink who you are. You dim your light to make other people comfortable. You are happy to look stupid to make other people comfortable. That is not humility, because light is supposed to shine. The Bible says, the reason I'm laughing is because I told myself, okay, I won't quote any Bible. I won't quote any Bible verse, but I can't help it. But the Bible says that nobody lights a candle and puts it under a bushel. Nobody lights a candle and puts it under the bed. Light is supposed to shine. And you dimming your light doesn't make you humble. Dimming your light doesn't make you humble. It makes you a coward. So you don't have to dim your light to make anybody comfortable. I'm not saying go about and be, someone that just goes about oppressing people with your abilities and things like that. Of course, everything should be done decently and in order. Moderation is important, right? But, and even when you go about oppressing people, it's also a sign of low self-esteem. People who are oppressive have low self-esteem. They're just, again, like I said, trying to bring people down by trying to put themselves above everyone, right? So, but what I'm saying is that you cowering and you shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable just to get their approval, letting people mistreat you just because you want them to love you, it will not do you any good. So now that we have talked about some of the signs of low self-esteem, the question then is, how do you overcome it? What are some of the things that we can do to begin to deal with low self-esteem? I think the very first thing is to think about it long term. What are some of the things that low self-esteem can rob you of? Because the truth is that there's not much that you'll be able to achieve with life if you have a poor estimation of yourself, right? So think about it. Don't you want to raise healthy, confident children with a healthy sense of self-worth? But the truth is that you cannot give what you don't have. So if you want your children to grow up with a healthy estimation of themselves, then you have to be willing to work on yourself so that you can show them the way. Remember, children will not do as you say. They will do as you do. So think about it long term and let that be the motivation that you need to do the work that needs to be done. Another thing that you need to do is to get to the root of it. Get to the root of it. Do the inner work. Sit down and think. Where did it start? Did it start from your childhood? What were the situations that created that foundation of low self-esteem in you? What were the things that happened? A lot of times it happens during childhood. It happens as a result of how we were raised. It happens as a result of the environment that we were raised in. So ask yourself, where did this poor feeling about myself start from? Where did I start learning that I wasn't good enough? Who told me that I wasn't good enough? And begin to unpack all of those things so that you can begin to heal. The first step to healing is to identify the problem, is to recognize that there is a problem and begin to work at it. Invest in knowledge. Get the resources that you need. If you have to go to therapy and you can afford it, go to therapy. If you need to read books, read a book. I have a book on self-esteem. You can grab that if you want. But other than that, there's so many books that can help you to begin to understand yourself, to begin to understand why you act the way you do, to begin to understand, that teach you about building your self-confidence, building and seeing yourself as the worthy person that you are. So invest in knowledge. Wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, get understanding, know who you are, and begin to invest in growing your sense of self-worth. Another thing that I tend to advise people to do is to do a personal SWOT analysis. So I have this resource that I created to help people do a personal SWOT analysis. And the reason why I created that is because that helped me when I started this journey of building my self-esteem. And a personal SWOT analysis is just basically you having a clear understanding of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. When you know who you are, you know the stuff that you're made of, you know what you're good at, you know what you're not good at. It helps you it gives a balanced view of yourself, right? So doing a personal SWOT analysis helps you, first of all, identify your strengths and helps you to see the places that that you need to work on and the things that you're not good at. A personal SWOT analysis would help you to build that confidence in yourself because now you know who you are. You know what you're good at and you know what you're not so good at. Audit your circle. Sometimes growth requires pruning. And pruning could look like removing yourself from certain circles. Please don't cast your pearl before swine. Do not go, I don't know if you've heard this, people tend to say, don't go where you are tolerated, go where you are celebrated. Because if you plant your seed in an environment where there are thorns, that thorn will choke that seed and that seed will not grow. Don't sit in the council of people who do not like you and people who have made it very clear and apparent that they do not want your growth. Don't cast your pearl before swine, because if you do, they will trample upon it. Do not spend your time in a place where you are undervalued, in a circle where you are undervalued. This is very important, especially when you are trying to build your self-esteem, because the people who are the environment that you place yourself in, and the people that you surround yourself with, play a critical role in whether or not this seed that you're trying to sow will germinate. For me personally, this is one of the things that I had to do in my life, and I had to make it my own personal mantra. I don't go where I am not loved. No, you won't find me spending time with people that I know do not like me. I don't do it. Not because these people are bad people. Not because it doesn't mean that I hate them. It doesn't mean that I despise them. It doesn't mean that I do not care, right? It doesn't mean that I cannot love and be kind to people who clearly do not like me. But it just means that I do not stay in spaces where I know that I am not wanted. I do not do it because I value myself too much, and I have learned that the more I spend time in places where I'm undervalued, the more I will begin to undervalue myself. Right? The environment that you consistently spend time in is critical to your growth. And if you spend time in a place where people do not want you, do not want your growth, it is highly inimical to your growth. You have to understand this. So go where you are loved. Go where you are wanted. Go and spend time with people who actually want the best for you. Your environment matters. If you surround yourself with people who are constantly bashing you, who are constantly making fun of the effort, and you're making fun of your progress, and making you feel, and you're in a place where you have to shrink to get their approval, you have to shrink to get their to get their affirmation, you're probably in the wrong place. So your circle matters in overcoming low self-esteem. Your circle really, really, really matters. So if you're in a place, you see that I'm really harping on this because your environment is important. Your environment is really important. So if you're in a place where people are constantly talking down at you, constantly talking down at what you do, constantly talking down at your growth, it's going to affect you. So maybe this is the time to sit and vet, sit and audit your circle. Sit and audit the people that you have surrounding you. Do they make you feel good about yourself? I'm not saying put yourself in an echo chamber where everybody is a sycophant and throwing praises at you because of what they want to get from you. What I'm saying is that, is there reciprocity in this environment? Do you feel loved in your heart of hearts? Do you feel loved here? Do you feel that the people that you surround yourself with actually love you? Or do they just keep you around for what they can get from you? If you're the person that is constantly giving and you are not receiving, there is a power imbalance. There's an imbalance there, and you have to check it. Because the truth is that if we're constantly giving and giving and giving, and our cup is not being refilled and there is no reciprocity, we feel spent, and it chips away at our sense of self. Right? So yeah, please do an audit. Don't cast your pearl before swine. Don't do it, because they will trample upon it for sure. Another thing that needs to happen for you to overcome low self-esteem is to work on your inner dialogue. Change your vocabulary about yourself. Change the things that you say to yourself, and change the things that, and do not let people speak negative words over you. Now, first of all, yes, change your vocabulary about yourself. Change that inner speak, that inner dialogue, those things that you say to yourself in your head. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. Something is wrong with me. I always do this. Everything is always my fault. I have a problem. Blah, 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 blah. All those negative dialogue that replays in your head over and over and over again, it's time to do something about it. Change it. Yeah. Be willing to tell yourself the truth. When you make a mistake, be willing to say, yes, I made a mistake. But understand that it doesn't make, or it should not, that doesn't mean that you then begin to say negative things about yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So change that inner dialogue and don't let people speak negative things over you. Please. Words are very powerful. So another way that you can overcome low self-esteem is to spend time doing the things that you love. So if you have a hobby, you have a skill, something that brings you joy, the more you do things that you're good at, the better you feel about yourself. So when you do something that you're good at and you see success from it, it makes you feel accomplished. It makes you feel good about yourself. Right? So those things that bring you joy, those things that bring you satisfaction, those things that bring you fulfillment, do more of those things. Another way that you can overcome low self-esteem is to change the things that you can change and accept the things that you cannot. For women, a lot of times our low self-esteem tends to come from how we look physically. So if you feel like, oh, I don't look very good externally, maybe if it's something that you can do if there's something you can do to change that, go ahead and change it. If you feel like, oh, maybe if you feel like maybe I need to lose some weight, do that. Take a step. Take steps to becoming a better version of yourself. Right? And if it's something that you cannot change for your height, for example, accept it. I did a TikTok some months ago that talking about the fact that I used to detest my height, and it's amazing that particular video has like over 15,000 views now. It's like one of my most highly engaged videos that I've ever done on TikTok. But I was talking about the fact that I really did not like my height because I'm quite tall, right? So it really was a problem for me. And I used to really hate it because I felt like being tall was a problem. I felt like I felt like I wasn't normal because I was tall, right? So, but as time went on, I had to learn to accept that. And now I love it. Like, I love my height 100%, right? So, but it took me some time to get there. So when you understand that there are certain things about yourself, like your height, that you can't change, what do? You accept it. For things that you can change, go ahead and change it if you can afford it. If you want to lose weight, go ahead and do what you need to do to lose weight. If you want to improve your skin, go ahead and get the skincare routine, regimen, and all of those things. Please don't bleach you. But do what you have to do. If you want to change how you dress, there are tons and tons of resources out there that can help you. YouTube videos, all of those things, coaches and whatnot that can help you to do that. So don't get stuck in that cycle saying, oh, I cannot do this, I cannot. If it's something that you can work on, if it's something that you can change, if there's something that you can do to improve things for yourself, go ahead and do it, right? If you want to improve your speaking skills, take a course, watch a video, ask ChatGPT. AI is there to help you, so whatever it is that you can improve, go ahead and improve it. And that leads me to the next point. Keep your promises to yourself. The more if we say we're going to do something and we go ahead and do it, what that does is it tells our brains that, oh, this person can be trusted. And the more your trust in yourself increases, the more your self-esteem improves. Because your mind, your mind then begins to say, oh, okay, if she says she's going to do something, she does it, that means we can trust her, right? So, and the more you accomplish your goals, the more you do the things that you say you're going to do, the better you feel about yourself. The more disciplined you are, the better you feel about yourself. But if you spend the whole day doom scrolling on social media, I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but for me, if I spend an unhealthy amount of time doom scrolling on social media without really doing the things that I set out to do for that day, I feel bad about myself. It robs me of that feeling. I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel proud about myself, because I'm like, oh my God, I told myself I was going to do this and I don't do this. I didn't do that. So keeping your promises to yourself and pursuing your goals, pursuing your dreams, it actually does wonders to your self-esteem. Moving on from that, setting healthy boundaries helps your self-esteem as well. You have to teach people how to treat you, because otherwise they're going to trigger you and take you back to square one. Teach people how to treat you. Let people know the things that you will take and the things that you will not take. The reason why this is important is because if you don't do it, people are going to keep treating you based on the person that they used to know you to be. So you have to be the one to tell them, look, I don't operate like that anymore. If not, they will keep taking you back to square one. You still keep feeling those feelings of powerlessness in your life. So at some point, you have to be able to stand up for yourself and teach people how you're going to treat, how they should treat you. Finally, I would say that if you're a person of faith, look to God's word, talk to God about it. I know that for me, it's one of the things that I had to do at some point. I went to God and I said, look, God, expose me to myself. Show me where this feeling is coming from, right? So, but yeah, definitely do that. Pray, talk to God if you're a person of faith, if you're a Christian. But yeah, therapy is also good. It's good to have someone, a therapist or a counselor that you can sit with to unpack all of these things. So, but I hope you found this helpful. These are just some of the things that I thought I'll come on here and share with you. But let me know what you think. If you've ever dealt with low self-esteem and you were able to come out of it, let us know let us know some of the things that you did, some of the ways that you were able to overcome it. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, okay? But yeah, share this, definitely share this with anybody that you think would benefit greatly from this episode. All right, but if you watched it or you've listened to this very point, thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you found this episode helpful and insightful. If you did, let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed and you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much as you do that. Well, yeah, looking forward to the new year. Looking forward to everything that the new year holds. Looking forward to all the good stuff that 2026 has in store for us. But then again, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a prosperous new year, and I wish you all of the blessings that the year comes with. I'll see you again in my next episode. Bye.